In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what an absentee owner list is, as well as how to pull it through list source. Now, this is probably one of our most consistent deal sources simply because it's just kind of infinitely scalable. In our experience with this, using ballpoint marketing and pushing traffic back to a carrot site for some branded marketing, our typical cost per acquisition using this approach is under 3,000 per deal. So I mean, I'll do that all day long. So I'm going to walk you through how to pull this for yourself real quick. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to click on create your own. An absentee owner list is simply a list of people who own a home, but they don't live in it. So they're not owner occupied. A lot of the times, this is like maybe they're a small time landlord. They had a job transfer and couldn't sell, so they chose to rent it out. Or we get a lot of situations where somebody bought the house for a family member and that friend or family member is not helping with the bills. So they got to go, right? So, real quick, you're just going to go into geography. I typically do by zip code, and you're just going to punch them down here. You can separate them by commas or by like page breaks or lines if you want to. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to do one real quick. So we have 10,226 parcels. However, we want to go to property. And first thing we're going to do is put in our equity percentage. Now, I always do 35 to 100%. It's pretty rare that I run into a situation where somebody can't afford to sell to me. And this also casts a wide enough net. I actually prefer people that owe a little bit on the property. We end up buying a lot more deals from those versus the ones who own it free and clear. If they have a mortgage on the property and it goes vacant or the tenant's not paying, there's a little bit more of a pain point there. So that's just kind of my experience. Now, a lot of people will tell you to put a like last market sale date, right? I don't want to mail anybody or market to anybody that hasn't been there for more than 5 years. In my experience, that just doesn't make a ton of sense. I've bought a lot of deals from people who have owned the house for a year or less. A lot of first-time landlords, first-time flippers that realize, whoa, this isn't quite the HGTV dream I thought it would be. So I don't put in any sort of a cap. Now we've got 3,966 properties that have equity, which is cool, but we want to make sure we're mailing to the kind that we want. So we're going to go to property type. And right now it's including everything from apartments to like, warehouses, all kinds of stuff like gas stations, thrift stores, McDonald's, are all on that list. You always want to make sure you go down to detailed type to pick out the assets you're looking for. If you don't do that and you just do something like residential SFR, that can include land that's zoned as SFR, which if you're not looking for land deals is a problem, or could include things like condos or things of that nature, which is fine if you're looking for them, not so much if you're just looking for properties that are a house. So we're going to go to detailed, and then typically I do duplex, quad, triplex, and SFR. All right, perfect. So we have 3,778 properties that are basically 1 through 4 units with 35 to 100% equity. As kind of a quick other disclaimer, a lot of the times they don't have equity data on anything that's not residential, so 1 through 4 units. So that's why that count actually didn't change. That's not always the case, so you do want to make sure that you're picking out your property types. On the flip side of that, if you're looking for, say, warehouses or retail spaces, you're not going to want to use list sources equity filters because you're going to cut stuff out that they don't really know the performance of the property to understand the value of it, right? So next thing we're going to do is come over here to options and go to absentee owned, which takes us down to 1,204 in this particular zip code. Trusts, I typically leave in. Corporate, I exclude unless I'm doing what we showed you guys on the last video. I'm going to go to purchase list. And then you're going to want to make sure that you remove duplicates. That way you don't send one guy 15 letters. 941, you'd purchase the list and you're good to go. But that's how you purchase a list of absentee owners with equity through list source and what they are. Thanks.